Alrighty then. It is about 8 o'clock here on the East Coast in the evening. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Tonight, we're going to probably wrap up the vital sessions for a while. And it occurred to me a few nights ago that back when we first started this, I had mentioned a feature of Vital, but we never really got into it. And this is relating to another way of creating your own wavetables in Vital. So what I want to do is actually to take you through that real quick, and it really will be real quick. It's not a difficult thing to do, but the idea is we'll build a nice drone patch based on a waveform that we create ourselves, or I will create on screen anyway. So we'll do a wavetable that I will create and show you how to do that, so you can create your own wavetables, interesting wavetables in Vital from scratch, essentially from scratch. So let's go ahead and dive in. I'll bring up the computer on screen and bring up our copy of Vital that is playing now. And what you're hearing now is a patch that, or a preset that I made that includes a self-made wavetable plus some other stuff going on. I'm apologizing now too in advance. I've got some glitches going on. I don't know where they're coming from. This is sucking down an inordinate amount of CPU. So I'm not sure what the deal is with that. I've only got right now one instance of Vital active, and so I'm not sure what's going on. So anyway, while we're let's go ahead and get started. Let's not mess around. So I'm going to stop what's playing now. We'll let the echoes and reverbs. I had a huge echo and reverb on this patch. We'll let that all die away, and I will go ahead and let's go ahead and initialize the preset. That'll dump it out. And so this is the initial preset in Vital. And let me get over, so that's the active channel, and I'm not sure why that's still holding on. Alright, so that's annoying as heck. The joys of this, let's dump it. Not sure what's up with that. What started that off? Oh, we started into play, that's why. Alright, let's go down to another pattern there. There we go. Alright, now we'll have control of this thing again, maybe. Not sure why that kicked off a play, but I'm still seeing that we're making noise. Okay, it's going to be one of those nights tonight. Let's see. Let's tell this to only listen to one channel. And while we're behind the scenes here, I will reinitialize. I will make it be quiet for the moment, and let's see. Now it's still sticking on. It appears to be a day for gremlins, and they've gotten wet. And the reason I mention that or say that is I was working on a customer site today, and it was one of those kind of things that if anything could go wrong for no apparent reason, it did. And apparently, after I left and everything was working, they got hit. They were suddenly 2 fire alarms went off in the building that they're working in for a live television production tonight, and a fairly important one at that. So I am still trying to figure out why we're getting stuck on. Let's see. This is our instance of Vital. Let's go ahead and delete this. Make sure that's completely gone. Turn that back on. Okay, it's quiet. If I hit play, what happens? Or hit a key, what happens? It sticks. All right, well, we're going to have one of those nights tonight. Wonder where this is coming from. Well, this was all working a few minutes ago when I was testing this and getting set up for tonight. What happens? I want to try one of these other ones that we made before. See if this track is better, treats us better. Well, no, that's really weird. This track is enabled. I hit this track. Oh, that's why. Never mind. I'm going to delete this track and start over. We're going to go over here to this guy. And that should be up. And I'm getting nothing. And I know why that's not playing. I got to turn Vital on. All right. That is working. And so what I'm going to do is see what else is on here that might be causing that weirdness. Nothing. Okay, good. Let us go into Vital on this track. And once again, I'm going to go ahead and initialize the patch. Okay, louder than heck, but there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, now we're somewhere where we can get started on this. Turn down the volume a little bit. So our initial patch, just a sawtooth. Pretty boring. So let's go ahead and make ourselves our own waveform. So to do that, I've got to do oscillator 1, and I'm not going to touch anything else for now, just the oscillator. And we click here on the little pencil icon, and that brings us into the wavetable editor. And so one thing about this is not only can you do your own wavetables from scratch, but you can use this tool to edit other wavetables. Any wavetable you want, you can load in here and edit. For now, I am going to we'll just go ahead and use we'll do waveform blend for the. There's different ways that you can blend between the frames in there. I'm also going to make this grid a little. This grid is pretty chunky, so I'm going to go ahead and make the grid a little finer so we can draw a little finer waveforms. We'll just do, let's see, 16 by 4 maybe. We can smooth, because we'll be able to smooth these out as we go. All right, so to draw a waveform, starting that, you just move your mouse over the dots. You light up a dot, click and hold, and then you can, get the dot lit. There we go. Click and hold and go from dot to dot. And then you can go ahead and make whatever weirdo shape you want. Which I'll go ahead and just make something ugly. All right, that'll do for a start. So now what we can do is we can smooth this out. And to smooth that out, we get down in, and we draw down in here. And that's just a matter of holding your mouse and clicking along and drawing a waveform in here. So the higher up into this you go, the more you can affect little fine details in the waveform. And we can do some more down here as well. This will also cause some effects. Most of the effects I found with this are down low in this end of the range, but all of this adds just some interest. And really, I'm just going by something that looks cool. I mean, really, that's we're not doing anything scientific here, but we're just making some interesting shapes. And the more interesting the shapes, the more interesting the sounds. So we'll start with that. So that's our first waveform, and so that's what that would sound. That's what that sounds like. So that's a fairly interesting noise. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in, I think, 8 different points in this in this wavetable. So in order to move to the next point, we just move and click over here, and right-click on the lower bar and create a new keyframe. Now I like to make them line up pretty good. It doesn't really matter how close they are, but and you can put in as many in here as you want. The problem is if you get too many in there, you don't let the software do its own magic and do some really neat morphing between waves for you. So I like to do 8. You can do like 256, I think it is, that you can put in there if you feel like spending the time. But I like to let the software do some of the work for me. So in this waveform, I'm going to start with that same basic shape that we had before, and I'm just going to change it subtly by making some changes through here. And get that one real funky. So that one would sound like this. It's a little more nasally. And let's go ahead and move to this next one. And again, this is me just wanting things to look neat. So let's go ahead and draw another new one from scratch here. And so this raw thing like this with all these angles will sound like this, which isn't bad. But like I said, I like things just a little more interesting. I like them smoothed out a bit. But if you see if I come up here, I start getting these up here. I get these really high frequency glitchies going on, and then down here we get some interesting effects with kind of flipping phasing and stuff like that around. Let's go ahead and smooth this out a little bit overall. How's this sound? Most of this is sounding pretty nasally, but that's okay. That'll be fine. It'll make for some interesting sounds. Okay, let's do another one. And I will just, in the interest of time, I'm just going to whip through these real quick. Let's help this one out a little bit. Drag this guy down here. We'll draw another one of those little houses. Put upside down. Okay, let's do another one here. And you can see it doesn't really matter whether I drag over the timeline first or if I just go ahead and set a point. Do another one from scratch here. And you see those lines don't actually connect until you hit a dot in the grid. And you do your shaping with these guys down here. And I don't know that there's really a science to doing this. That sounds pretty good, just like it is. I'm going to add some grit to the top of it here. Okay, we'll do another one. Now let's see. Let's smooth this one out up there. I'm trying to make this one have a little low end. Can. It's not working so well. Let's start from scratch real quick. I have an idea. Okay, now. That'll do. Let's see. Okay. Call that one done. Nice. And one final one. Okay, what happened there? Oh, I know, I clicked off of it. There we go. Let's smooth all this out. This last one. Do my little Bob Ross whispers there. All right, so now what we've done, we've got that all done. We've created 8 different waveforms and put them in a table by spreading them across the timeline here. So there's some other stuff that you can do. You can different modifiers and all that kind of thing that you can do with your wave source. Again, this is for exploration later. I just wanted to get to the idea of how to make a wavetable. So now if we drop out of here, we go into 3D, there's our wavetable. So that's what we just created. And I can play through this. So we got a nice array of different kind of fizzy sounds there, and we can start doing stuff with that to make. We could do a deep pad that could be used as a drone. We could work on that tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with. I'm just going to start modifying the way this works, how we can work through this. So the first thing I'm going to do, we want this to have the long attack, long release thing going on. like that for our kind of paddy, drony kind of thing. And now we want to start moving through that wavetable like we did in previous, in some of the previous episodes or some of the previous examples. So the first thing I'm going to do, grab an LFO, tie it to this position. And so now if I play, we got that going on. It's a little too fast. So we can slow it down a lot. Turn the trigger off. I just want that to be sync, I think. Of course, I'm going to make it do my usual thing. I'll make it bipolar, make it stereo, slide this guy up some to start, having our start point more towards the middle. So right off the bat, now we've got some great motion going in this thing. And I'm going to turn it down a little bit. So if I come down an octave, just to start with, we've already got the basis of a fairly interesting kind of drone pad going on. And the really cool thing about that is we've got this motion and we haven't even touched a filter yet. All we're doing is just sweeping through the waveform that we created. So this is really, I think that to me this is really hugely powerful, that we can create our own sound from absolute scratch here and have complete control over it and do all kinds of really neat things with it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a couple voices of unison. And one thing that drives me a little crazy about Vital is that default unison amount is like 20% of detune. So that sounds kind of like a bad Gregorian chant. Let's go down an octave. It's actually got a nice sinister sound that way. Usually I would back that unison off. I usually find it to be way too much, but yeah, I'm going to back it off a little bit. I'll take that down to maybe, usually I go down to like 5%, but I think I'll do this about 13%. That'll be good. And so we can do some other interesting modifications to the way this is, this is shaped and voiced. I love to do this, either the harmonic stretch or the inharmonic stretch. And since I do that all the time, we're going to do something different tonight. I'll try this smear. And this changes that spectral morphing. And adds another dimension, another stack of timbral modification, again without even touching a filter. So let's go ahead and put an LFO on that. So I'll grab the second LFO, drag that to there. Again, another one to make, it's awesome to make bipolar and stereo. Make some great motion. And that's probably a little fast, so we'll slow it down. Back up an octave to the stand. Right now, we were down an octave from normal, so let's go ahead and move up to the normal playing range. All right, that's a little harsh. We'll get to that. Probably take some of the, probably filter that down a little bit. So let's go ahead and turn on, this is already piped into filter 1, so we can go ahead and turn that on there. Turn the level up a little again. And of course we want that to move. So I'm going to, I love these randoms for filter motion. So I'll grab one of the Perlin random. That's actually pretty much my favorite. And we'll drop that on the cutoff frequency. And again, bipolar and stereo. Turn this up a little more. I do tend to like this down an octave, so I'm going to go ahead and actually move this oscillator, transpose it down an octave here, so that the standard playing range, this guy's deep or deeper. Now I do think that this needs a little more. I'm not going to build another wavetable. We could stack up wavetables. But what I think I want to do next for this one, I'm just going to go ahead and add a sine wave. We'll do that with the second oscillator. And jump in here to basic shapes. There's a sine wave. To kind of sort of twist that just a little bit. So I'm going to go in here and let's do a little stretch on this. We'll do the harmonic stretch on this one. You're probably not going to get much with that because there's not a lot of harmonics in the, or there's pretty much no harmonics in the sine wave. So let's go ahead and make that a. That's interesting. Wasn't what I expected, but that's interesting. There we go. So we make that unison, just a couple, 3 voices. And this one I am going to knock down and make it pretty close to. Just want to thicken up a little bit. And I'm going to tune this down an octave as well. I say an octave. I got to get a mouse on this computer. Keep saying that. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, and what I want to do, I want to vary, let's vary the amount of the harmonic stretch on this, and to do that I'm going to grab this same random and just drag that onto here. This one will also be bipolar and stereo and cut way back. I just want it to be very subtle. nice drone. I think this Perlin's a little bit fast though. I like all these things to be fairly slow and for these pads and drone kind of sounds. Yeah, that's pretty nice. The other thing I like to add to add on these a little bit is some noise. I don't want to use white noise. It's too thin. Let's find something interesting. What's this sound like? I want to hear just that by itself for the moment. Yeah, we can do something with that. Let's pipe that through to filter 2. Turn filter 2 on. And we're going to make this a high pass instead of a low pass. Oh yeah, that'll be nice. I wonder why this Perlin's not... Oh, I need to do that. There we go. We'll grab a... Let's see. Let's make this a little glitchy. So grab another random. I'll take that. Drop that here. You know the deal. Introduce all that neat motion. Cut it back a bit. Change this one to a sample and hold. And this one we're going to make actually go faster. Add these guys back in. Oh, got this guy going to the wrong filter. There we go. I think that is masking this guy a little bit. Let's make this track key and let's turn it up an octave. And maybe I won't make this stereo after all. Resonance up. That's interesting. Yeah. That'll do. Okay, next up, I'm going to put some effects on this. So we'll just jump over here to effects. I'm going to do something that's a little bit what people would consider backwards. If you didn't know by now, this stack here is the available effects, and this is the order they run: chorus, compressor, delay, distortion, EQ, filter, flanger, phaser, and reverb. I'm going to put my reverb at the top of the stack and turn it on. And what I want to do, I want about a 25-30% mix. That's good. I want it to be, I don't want any chorusing on that. I want my size to be pretty huge and my time to be pretty long. That's not too bad. I'm going to jump back to the voice here for a second. There's something I wanted to do on these filters. I want to add some grit. So on this one, I'm going to just crank the drive all the way up on that. And it's subtle, but there's just a little bit of grit to it there. You hear that as it fades through there, kind of sound. That's what I was going for. Maybe I'll do the same thing on the noise. And I'll bring the level on that down a touch. That's an interesting effect. I did not expect that. That's interesting. Oh, I love this. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put an LFO on this level control. That was totally unexpected. That's really cool. So what I'm going to do, this one's not going to be... I don't think this one's going to be bipolar. I'm just going to bring the starting level down. And we're going to slow this guy way, way down. And let's bring that range of control way up. I want it to be able to go all the way. And hang there for a while. So I'm going to start up here because I don't want it to be too pure. That's very curious. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lower the resonance just a touch. Oh yeah, that's better. And I think I'm going to slow this down even a touch more. That's not the one I wanted to slow down. Is it? This is the one I wanted to slow down. Now I'm doing all of these as synced, all these LFOs as synchronized, and you don't have to do that. You could make them free run so that they don't go, so those changes are against time in your finished, in your whatever you're using them in. That's entirely up to you the way you do that. I like to at least start with them in time, and then we can change that easily enough, and make them free run, or make them at another. In fact, a fun thing we can do. Let's go ahead and take this one. Let's decouple that one from and turn that into seconds, and we can take this rate and we can tie that to one of our LFOs if we want. Do another one. I'll just use, let's see, this one. What the heck? So we stick that on there, and I am going to make this one bipolar anyway. So as the sound builds, it speeds up. And maybe to make that more obvious, I will go ahead and raise this resonance back up a little bit. Oh, this is fun. I like this. So what I'm going to do, just to give us some little more headroom in the sounds that can move around and whatnot, I'm going to go ahead and knock our voices up to, let's say, 12. I don't want to go too far because we'll start eating up CPU, but that's a good place to sit maybe. And then I wonder, if, after you've done that, what happens if I do make this one? Is it this one? Make that stereo. What happens? Cool. Move up the keyboard a bit. Curious here. I've noticed that there's at least somebody who joins me for these. So I wonder if we're actually working correctly here. Wouldn't be the first time that it didn't. So let's pardon me for a moment while I poke around on my other computer and see what's going on. Go to my channel, or try to. And let's see. It says it's going on. Okay, it says that I'm live. That's good. Pop that up. Notification here. Nope. All right. Well, everything's working. Okay. Okie dokie. Let's find my chat window in case anybody does decide to drop in. Alright, so let's go back and finish up these effects real quick. And I'm not going to do a whole lot on the effects on this because it doesn't really need a lot. This is... turn the volume off, dummy. Check the other stream, and now I got noise. So, boom, that should be there. And do that. Alright, now it's quiet. Alright, get my other window back up here, and there's that. Okay, stuff you guys can't see. I'll show you. I'm going to show you something new also after we get done with this. That is pretty cool, and I think is going to, in the long run, improve some of these streams and some of the production here. But anyway, let's go ahead and get back to finishing this guy up. The only thing I really need to add to this, I think. I want to add a delay, so we'll go ahead and turn that on. And this is something too. I mean, I'm doing this in the patch. You can do this if you've got a favorite delay. You can put this after the patch in your DAW. But I'm going to go ahead and put on a delay in here. We're going to this we are going to take away not sync, and I'm going to make it real long. That's about as long as we get. Okay, that's not a real long delay, but I guess it'll do. And of course we're going to make it ping pong, because that's what we do. Wonderfully gritty. Let's see here. What's this going on with? Oh, wrong delay time, numbskull. Yeah, we get 4 seconds out of it anyway. It's not too bad. Whoops. Stereo ping pong. There we go. I want this to be real long because I want these things to come back at us, you know, after we've moved on almost. I'll just go for 4 with that. Turn the feedback up a little bit. I'm going to try not to let it feedback and get and run away, but I want a lot of feedback on this too. You know, I think since we went with a high pass filter on this noise, I'm going to take the key tracking off of the noise. So now, no matter where we are on the keyboard, that noise component is still exactly the same. Alright, so that has built us an interesting drone, and we can go on too and do things with macros and whatnot. I am going to go ahead and I'll put the mod wheel to excuse me, add a little bit of mod wheel to this filter, cut off here, and let's see, how much did that give us? Oh yeah, that's pretty good. And just for some more interest, I'm going to add pressure to, oh, let's say maybe a smear effect. Did that work? Yeah. That's pretty subtle. But I'll also add it to the unison detune on that kind of broken waveform here. And so you can see as I'm pressing harder on the key, if you watch right there, you can see that bar graph come up a little bit. And you can also see this move around to increase that unison amount. Maybe I'll add pressure to the cutoff on the filter on the noise source as well. Open that up, or pinch that off actually is what we'll do with that. So this is actually, I'm going to cut that back just a little bit, but this is actually a great, fun drone patch. And what am I? And my stream monitor computer just shut down. That was neat. Let's pull up another stream monitor real quick. Yep, the gremlins are definitely with me. I think I brought them with them from my client. Let's get this going real quick. What I'm doing real quick is I'm just running on, just loading up an iPad real quick to look at the stream and see what's going on. Plus, let's do. Oh, you know what? Let's do this in the app. That'll be better. Maybe, maybe not. Stand by, folks. Stand by. I know I have YouTube on this silly iPad somewhere. Or I did. There it is. Turn the volume down. All right. Does appear that I'm still streaming. Okay, good. So we can do a kind of a, there we go. All right. And I got that back, and I have to look way over there to see it, but at least it's working. Maybe we can bring this guy back up. That is a fun drone. It's more of a. This has ended up being more of something to use as a low drone than necessarily a pad, but I like it. definitely make some nice under the space war kind of noises with this. Or we can put it under a nice easy pluck kind of thing. Let's make that happen. I'm going to jump over here real quick to my take 5. Turn that up. Turn it on. There we go. And to do that, we will start this guy. And let's see. Ready to start this guy. Goodness knows what all is going to start playing. Yeah, I don't like that at all. Make that go away. Alright, we'll do it differently. Turn that off, and let's turn the polybrute on. Too fast. So one of the things about a drone is it typically doesn't do a whole lot as far as changing its pitch, but its timbres may change. So those are the kind of things we could record and automate if we wanted, or play. Alright, I'm going to make it so this sticks on, and then I'm going to show you some other cool stuff that's going on here in the studio. Let's go ahead and I will push on that button, and you can see me scurrying around doing things here. Get that out of the way. Let's go ahead real quick. I'm on this track. Oh, stop here for a second. Oh no, that's quite interesting. Why does it want to do that? Like I said, those gremlins today, I'll tell you. I have no idea where that's coming from. Oh yeah, I do. Nope, it shouldn't be coming from there. Oh, that's neat. Fun, fun, fun. All right. We'll turn the synth bus down a little bit, though. So one of the things that I've been kind of experimenting with here, I've been unhappy, as some of you know, with the shot that was looking back this way. I've also been a little unhappy with the limitations on my downward looking shot. In other words, I've not been real thrilled with this guy because basically I get that, or I get which is just, you know, just the mixer section of or the control section of the Control S. And you don't get to see the stuff over here. Over here, you don't get to see much of me playing. Even if I go and widen that shot out all the way, you don't get to see the pitch and mod wheels or anything else that's going on here. So I'm experimenting right now, and you haven't seen this yet, but I'm experimenting right now with what's called a PTZ camera. So I've got a broadcast quality PTZ camera in here. And so it allows me a little more flexibility in the shots, and I can show you some more interesting views in the studio. So, for instance, now we're looking down from the other camera, and this allows me to have different angles and move around, so I can show different areas of the studio. But for instance, now if I wanted to, this is going to move pretty faster than I would usually do on air, so to speak. But I can move from this wide shot that actually lets you see, you know, the pitch wheel and the touch strip and the controls out here that I'm working with. But I can also zoom it in so that it is just the mixer section, and anywhere in between that. And so I can, you know, I can zoom back out. I say I can zoom, there it goes. I can zoom back out, you know, and let's say I just want to show that much of it. Now, unfortunately, with the straight down shot, I don't get the ability to go left to right, slide left to right. But as far as that goes, I'm also not in a permanent mounting situation for this. In fact, what I've got is pretty butt ugly. And I'm surprised it hasn't dropped the thing on top of me at this point. But this does allow, and I'm actually going to switch back to me while I talk about this. This does allow, because the moves on air can be a little seasicky, if you will. So I can, from that same camera, that same device, I can switch over and show what's going on, for instance, over here. And what the heck, we'll just move on air. I'm going to move the camera, guys. It's going to kind of swim over to something else. So if I go, I can go over and show the analog area with the Polybrute and the Take 5. And, you know, if I want to be talking about something on the Take 5 and showing what I'm doing there, I can zoom into the Take 5, even to the point of going all the way in so that you can see what's going on the menu. And one thing about this, I'm going to just hit a random note here for a second just to wake the display back up. One thing about this, if you notice as the lights change, the apparent sharpness changes as well. That is kind of a byproduct of certain colors of light and what they do, how they affect television cameras. And it's just kind of a fact of life. Some of you may notice this on your digital cameras or on your cell phone cameras. You know, purples never work out quite right, and sometimes red doesn't work out well. So that's just a byproduct of the camera, or of the way a television camera works. Also, the side-to-side motion you're seeing right now has to do with my janky mount. Eventually, this camera or one similar to it will be hard mounted to the ceiling. Right now, it's on a too small stand with a too small boom arm. So every time I move, it shakes the floor, which shakes the stand, which shakes the camera, especially, and you notice it especially when it's zoomed in this much. The other thing is this is not as zoomed in as this camera can go. I just have it set this way because this is more similar to one that I might actually buy. The one this can go, crazy zoomed in on that display, and I guess that's about 6 feet from the camera at this point, and I'm showing you just the one little display. Let me touch up the focus on that. There we go. So it's nice and sharp. Like any digital based camera, this is going to have some noise issues in the shadow areas, but it's better than a lot. And I could brighten it up more, but the more I brighten it up, the more noise that's going to show up in the shadows. So again, I can give you a little studio tour that I was never really able to give before. So let's zoom this back, and continuing on, I could go to a shot that covers the polybrute, and the polybrute closer to the importance or the interesting bits, the matrix area and the menus. And then again, this next move is going to be long and possibly uncomfortable, so I'll go back to looking at me, and I'll tap on that while I'm doing it. And so let's see, our next shot is this it? Right now I'm swinging over to show, so an area of the studio that you don't usually see because it's not finished is still getting there. Is the area over here to my right. This is where the looping station is going to be. It's where the OP6 lives. If I add any modular, it will be over here as well. And so now I've got the ability, or will have the ability, to show that kind of thing easily. And I can't remember what this preset is. There's another preset in here. I'm just going to go for it. Same thing, only wider. Okay, so some other parts of the studio that you guys don't usually get to see is behind me. You can see it a little bit, but my studio tour. Now you can't do a full 360 rotation. I can only go but so far, and then I have to stop and go back the other way. But so this is what lives behind me. My old stereo, and which I use for some stuff. You can see. Let me swing around the other way and give you the complete tour the other way around the studio. This isn't too bad. We'll get there. I have the rates set so they're not too uncomfortable if I do use them on air, so to speak. So shelves behind the analog area. So this was the super jank, and I still can't quite get it where I want it, but I'm in that dead zone. But let me zoom in some. This was the super janky mount. Now that's the plant, but to the left there you can see the super janky mount for the way the iPhone was set up. And I mean, it was doing the job, but not anything that I would want to leave permanently. So that's the newest addition to the disaster room. And again, this particular one is probably not the one that will be here. I'm just testing with this one. This one actually belongs to a client. Shh, don't tell anybody. And so, you know, I'm just testing with this, testing the waters with this to see if it works. I'm mostly happy with what I'm seeing from that. So, you know, I will shortly probably be ordering the one that I will actually use for this. And so now we're back with that to this shot. And at some point too, I will get around to doing that video that I've been threatening or promising to do about how this studio works both from an audio and a video standpoint. People were interested specifically in, well, let's go over here, in the way that I do video switching. And there's some stuff in the way, but basically I'm using the Blackmagic Design ATEM Mini Pro. I don't have the one that does the isolated recording, but I do have the Pro, and it's been doing a decent enough job for me. I don't think I still don't have any desire to go back to OBS, which is what I was using very early on, before any of these latest series in this room started. But the ATEM is basically just a simple little 4-input switcher with a few effects, and you know, I can do the text overlays like that pretty easily, and it lets me bring the computer in and put that on screen, you know, just by, you know, the touch of a button mostly. And come on, zoom out. Oops, not that way. I also want to put in an actual proper controller for the camera once I get things a little better set up. That's sitting downstairs already. But again, it lets me put you know, I can choose preview what I want to put on screen. You know, so it's a matter of, you can see that on the left monitor right here. That's what's up next. And then when I hit either the cut or the auto button, it transitions to that. So just like that. And so that's the gist of it. There's some detail that at some point I'll talk about on the channel, and maybe in a couple of weeks I'll have that video ready to put together. And as I said at the top of this, for the time being, I think this might be maybe the last of the Vital videos for a while. My gosh, the stream is way behind me. I'm looking at the preview, and I'm surprised by how far it appears to be. It's hard to tell. Strange night in streaming land, because I'm not seeing much of anything that I expect to see, and I'm guessing it's on air. One of those kind of nights. I don't know if there's even anybody out there. It's not even giving me accurate information as to what's going on at all. So I'm going to reload and see what it thinks is going on. Thinky. Yeah, it thinks about the same thing as it did before. At least it's caught up with what's going on, maybe. Maybe not. Hard to tell. All right. Well, anyway, been at this for a bit. I think short of anything pressing going on, I can't think of anything else. Probably going to go ahead and we'll call it a night. This has been Wavetable with Wavetable surfing with Vital Part 4, making waves here from the disaster room, and been one of those nights. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining in later on the replay, I guess, and we will look forward to seeing you later on in chats or discords or wherever it is we find each other. Have a good night. Talk to you all soon.